everybody. Thank you for checking out this episode of Raised on the Radio. I am one half of the show. I am Colt Brocado, my good friend Patrick Blair in Zoomland as usual. And you were complaining right before we turned the mics on. You were complaining about the Cleveland Guardians not being able to play today. I'm sure that hurts your heart. But apparently it's raining its ass off in New York. So they had to postpone it until tomorrow.
Well, this is actually good for you because I would be totally distracted right now because the game will be going on right now.
Would you be sitting outside like you were over the weekend watching?
It's not as nice. It's
Yeah.
not as nice. I did enjoy that, though.
It looked comfortable.
I mean, that's the best thing about those Roku TVs, man. They're mobile. You can take them anywhere as long as you still have the internet. So I took a TV outside, one of the TVs outside, and chilled outside in the beautiful weather and watched them win in 15 innings. So,
yikes.
Yeah. But they were supposed to be playing right now, but they got pushed to noon tomorrow. Good thing I'm working from home.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man, I would be totally distracted. They lost the first game. I was sour about that. But so far, the baseball playoffs have been fun. I know everybody here is bummed because the Cardinals got bounced rather shamefully, if you will.
Yeah, I think it's more of a bummer for everyone probably because of the retirement of Yachty and Pujols and like all the
potentially Wainwright.
Potentially, yeah. I mean, has he said anything? Like
he's going to come back.
You think so?
I think he's really butthurt that he didn't pitch in the playoffs and wasn't going to pitch and start in the playoffs. I think he feels like he has a point to prove. But at this point, it's like, bro, just call it. Like, what else do you have to prove?
Yeah.
The only thing he doesn't have on his resume is the Cy Young, which is criminal because there were 2 years distinctly that I remember that he should have won it or could have. I think he should have, obviously, but could have won it.
Right.
That's the only thing missing.
Yeah. I mean, if he were to decide to hang it up, it would suck now, I think, because he would have been included in like all that celebration and it would have been cool to see him go out with Pujols and Yachty. But maybe he doesn't want all that pomp and circumstance. Who knows?
Yeah, I don't think he wants that attention right now. I think he wants to wait. I think he wants to wait it out and see how he feels. And I think it's different with pitchers versus position players too, especially somebody like a Yachty who plays one of the tougher, if not the toughest position on the field, physically speaking anyway. You know, the physical toll it takes on you over your career.
Yeah. Right.
And that's saying a lot for me to defend him. As you know, I'm a Yachty hater. But, you know, I'm sure everyone here will be sad to see them go. I actually am kind of...
Just the toll it takes on your knees
right.
to be a catcher. I don't see how they don't get like knee replacements.
I mean, a lot of them do. But,
yeah,
you know, I'm living here and watching the Cardinals all these years. I'm excited to see a new era, whatever that new era might be. If it's the Goldschmidt, Arenado era, if it's I don't know. But I think it's a good thing. You know, I think, look, Yachty's good. He was good. I'm sorry. Yachty has been great over his career, but I felt like he was a crutch for St. Louis baseball fans to lean on for far too long. And there was a lot of the way that I sum it up. It's like when there was poor play or when they were down in the dumps and they needed somebody to step up and he didn't, people would just go, oh, well, it's Yachty. It's like, no, it's a team that's supposed to be competitive and we pay as fans to see them be competitive and we pay to see our star players do things. So no, it's not like if a player is depleting, if their skills are depleting, then we need to recognize that. It feels like everyone here has been delusional about how good that guy really is for a very long time. But again, I'm a hater. So,
I mean, Pujols still had an incredible year. So,
for sure.
As far as that goes, you know, we've talked several times on this show about when is it time to hang it up for some of the greatest players in multiple sports in history? You know, do you leave with your legacy intact and, you know, on the top of your game, but it's got to be really hard to know that you're putting up great numbers in whatever you're doing and you're going to go ahead and hang it up when you think you can continue to do it. You know, Tom Brady is always the one that we go back to Look at the year he had last year, and people were saying he should have retired from New England. It's just, I mean, age has a lot to do with it with him, but still, MMA is another thing that we've talked about when it comes to fighters retiring, and how many do they have left? And you see the scary thing of fighters just keep fighting because it's money. The love of the fighting goes away at some point, and they just keep on going.
Yeah.
So
I can't really compare fighters to Yadi or Molina, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah, I'm just saying it would suck to think I've at least got one more good year in me, because this year was really good, and then you come out and bomb the whole next season, and then that's your retirement. Like, why? I would rather leave on top, but you never know. You never know if you could be better or worse.
Yeah, but I feel like people always talk about legacy, but if you're a guy who was already built what some would say is a Hall of Fame worthy legacy, then even if you do have a bad year, it's like, okay, fine. You went on a bad year. I don't know if it doesn't tarnish anything in my opinion. Now, some people argue that it does, but that's just stupid hot take bullshit, talking head talk that gives Skip Bayless and Stephen A. Smith something to talk about. I don't think it matters. If Wainwright were to come back and have a bad year, then he had a bad year. If Yachty got a wild hair up his ass and was like, you know what, one more, and he hits 200 and he only plays 60 games because he got hurt, who cares?
Right.
Nothing changes about what they previously accomplished. So while we're on the subject of baseball and accomplishing things, I want to talk about something. It's really it's really bothered me, like some of the reactions that I've seen and some of the takes I've seen. But what are your thoughts on Aaron Judge and the season he had? Now, I understand that he didn't break the home run record, but he did break a home run record. I've seen people argue like, well, I don't understand why the leagues are split. Records should just be records for all of baseball. Unfortunately, or fortunately, for whoever you're talking to and whatever the fan base is, unfortunately or fortunately, that's the way baseball is and has always been, and probably always will be. There's always been an American League. There's always been a National League. They've always been two coexisting leagues, but two leagues completely separate of each other when it comes to players' accomplishments, team accomplishments, so on and so forth.
But isn't there a big comparison between him and Barry Bonds too? Isn't that what people are saying?
Meaning what?
As far as like steroid era versus now?
Yeah, and that's fine if people want to do that. That's fine. And I think that's the biggest, pro Aaron Judge folks that's the biggest thing that they're talking about, is that he's done it in an era where there doesn't seem to be as rampant of steroid use and so on and so forth. But I mean, I don't care about that necessarily. It's not the record. And you're not going to hear me say he's the record holder, but he did break a 61-year-old record in the American League that at the time when it was being broken was an even bigger deal than Aaron Judge doing it right now, because Roger Maris broke Babe Ruth's record, which was for the longest time considered to be something that was untouchable.
Right.
I'll be honest with you. If a player from a different team, let's say Mike Trout, had done what Aaron Judge did, it wouldn't be as big a story. But
why?
Because he's not a Yankee. The fact that it was a Yankee breaking a Yankee record who broke a Yankee record, that's why it's a story, and that's why people care so much about it. The Yankees are sacred ground. They're sacred when it comes to baseball history. So, and I find it odd too. So Roger Maris broke the record in 1961. 61 was the record. Okay. Aaron Judge, 61 years later, hit number 62.
Weird.
Right?
That's crazy.
It's fucking nuts. So there are those things that make it kind of cool. But at the end of the day, he had an insane fucking season.
Do you think it's crazy that it's been 61 years since that record was set, that it hasn't been broken until now?
Well, it technically hasn't, because McGwire broke it and then Bonds broke McGwire's. But in the American League, again,
okay, I gotcha.
And look, you got to understand, baseball historians and people in baseball view the two leagues as separate things. Yeah, right. There's a home run record holder. It's Barry Bonds. He's the National League record holder as well, but there isn't a record holder in the American League. Does it make it right? Does it make it neat? Does it make it does it mean, is it meaningless? I don't know. You decide. It really depends on how much you care about baseball. I fucking
Right.
love baseball. Now, look, it pains me to be giving a New York Yankee who looks like Herman Munster this much credit. It really does. I don't like doing this, but the dude
Yeah.
had an insane season. Insane. If you look at his numbers, it's insane. So I think it needs to be recognized. But then you have these fucking jackasses from various media outlets making these takes on social media, like 73 isn't 60 or whatever, like comparing the two. And it's like, hey, assholes, we know who has the home run record. We don't need to, we can count to 73. We understand which number is bigger. You don't need to, the like, but then I saw some guys were posting because, his home run chase, they were like they were taking time away from college football games to show his at bats. My guys, it's fucking September. You're really that worried about it? Like, and it just begs the question, what really fuels and again, this is coming from a Yankee hater. I'm playing the Yankees right now. Fuck the Yankees. Fuck Aaron Judge. He struck out twice the other day. I was loud in my house by myself. So like, but it begs the question, like, where does the actual disdain for this specific accomplishment come from? Is it because he's a Yankee? Is it because people are you a Barry Bonds fan? Yeah, like, I don't know. I don't understand the actual, from like media members anyway. I understand everyday guys like you and I.
Right.
And that goes even without saying. I mean, we do a podcast, so we do get to like broadcast our opinion. So I guess in the same sense, we're a little bit of the same breed. But like media members, like, why are you so mad? Like, what are you so mad about? And I beg the question of some of these guys. I'm like, would you be this upset, and would you really be even talking about it if, say, a Mike Trout had done it?
Right.
I don't know. It's an interesting thing to think about, for me anyway, because it always seems that when a guy who plays for a team like the Yankees and is a person of color or a player of color, and they do something outrageous or spectacular, more of the haters come out than not. And it's very bizarre to me.
You think it's a racial thing?
I always think that way, man. You just see, but it doesn't mean I stand by that.
I know.
But it's just the thought had crossed my mind. It's just this one guy that's on like Barstool, and I can't stand his stupid red face, but he always goes for the angle of the hater take when it comes to a player of color in any sport. And it's like, can you just not be so predictable? Can you just give the guy some credit? It's always that. It's all football, basketball, baseball, whatever he's talking about. If he's talking about something that a player of color did, it's always this negative fucking energy. And he was really the first one that I saw have this take about like, yeah, he had a great season, but it's not a big deal. He didn't really accomplish anything. Like, yeah, he fucking did. How many guys in the history of baseball have hit 60 home runs in a season? Not that many.
Is this a well-known thing, like that this guy is this way, or is this just your take on how you see it?
It's just my observation.
Okay.
It could be. And the only reason I've seen any of this guy's stuff is because people that I follow share it. I don't follow the guy. I think he's a jackass, but if someone I know shares it, I'll watch. And sure enough, his Aaron Judge take, I was like, oh God, he's so predictable. Like, you just give the guy some credit.
Right.
Yeah.
You
can't. So you always have to wonder. It's just, I'm connecting the dots with that one person. Now, does Jeff Passan really feel that way? Who's, when it comes to Major League Baseball, top 3 to 5 faces, names of in the media? I don't know, but he posted 73 is not, or 62 is not 73 or something like that. End of discussion. Like, yeah, Dick, we know. I don't know. What was the point of that? It's just such a lukewarm take from a guy who gets paid a lot of money to cover baseball for the biggest network. I don't know. But this goes back to what we've been saying for a long time. It's like, why do they pay these guys to say some of the things they say? Just to get clicks, just to get views, just like, what is it?
Well, I think that's exactly it.
It's in baseball now? Baseball? Really? Baseball always felt like it was untouchable from hot takes. And I'll tell you why. Not because it's above it, or not because baseball's beyond it, or it's like is untouchable. I always felt like the guys who make hot takes just thought baseball that was too boring to even discuss. The game itself, the players, the personalities, and baseball in general. I always felt like a guy like Stephen A. Smith wouldn't really touch baseball unless it was absolutely necessary, like when an Aaron Judge hits 62 home runs or something like that.
So in other words, golf is kind of away from the hot takes also, unless Tiger Woods does something
100%.
like fools around on his wife or
You had two guys, two biggest players in the world talking shit back and forth on social media, talking shit on the greens, essentially. It was a story for that long.
Yeah.
Tiger Woods, I mean, until another Tiger Woods comes along, which probably won't happen. Let's get real. Now, if there's another golfer of color that comes along and tears it up like Tiger did, and then we got a different story. Dude, I'm right. How many have there been? How many have there been?
He definitely set a precedent, I guess, for being of color and doing what he did, but he wasn't. What's his actual race? It's two different, right? Or two different.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's a lot of things actually.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I don't remember. I don't really care. I never really cared. Yeah. I don't like golf. Tiger's Tiger, fine, but like I never looked at like, oh, look at that black guy being good at golf. It was always like, that guy's really good.
Look at that. Look at that black guy being good at golf.
He's way better than everyone else. But I would say that. But if somebody were playing like that, regardless of what they looked like, I'd be like, that guy is the best at his job. Yeah. But if Tiger looked like Rory McIlroy, it wouldn't be as big of a thing because there had already been white golfers that were that successful. It took a Tiger and a Tiger to look like he looks to put golf on the map like that. How did we get on golf? What are you doing to me?
I don't know. You're being all racial in this episode. It's getting.
I don't know, man. It's just that one guy really just pushes my buttons, and it just had me thinking about it. And
I'm sure he's not the only one that's like that. That's out there. And maybe he pushes things in that direction on purpose because he's hoping people look at it that way, just for clicks. Of course.
I think if you're a true baseball lover, which again I am, have you ever seen the movie 61?
A long time ago, but yes.
Do you remember anything about it?
Not really.
Okay.
Give me.
So 61 is specifically it was directed by Billy Crystal, but it was made to tell the story of Roger Maris and Mickey Mantle in 1961 when they both, for a time, were chasing Babe Ruth's record. Now, Mickey Mantle was the beloved player in New York. Everyone loved him. He could do no wrong. He was their guy. Roger Maris was not. He wasn't necessarily a fan favorite. He didn't have the outspoken personality. He wasn't a guy that liked to talk to the media. He just liked to shut up and play. And once it became a reality that like, oh, Mickey's not going to break the record, but this fucking guy might. This guy got death threats. This guy got fucking, people showing up to his house, his wife being fucking harassed, shit thrown at him while he was playing, like chairs and shit. Like,
just for being a good baseball player.
Just for having a good year.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
I mean, he was good.
Yeah.
But that year, he never had another year like that. He had good years, but.
Yeah.
And he's fucking losing his hair from stress and shit, like, because of it. And he didn't understand what was going on. He didn't quite get, like, what am I doing that's so wrong? And again, he didn't have the Mickey Mantle approach. And in the movie, Mickey Mantle tries to tell him, like, hey, man, you just got to, I can't remember exactly how he said it, but he's like, you got to, like, give these guys what they want. Talk to them, be their pal. And if they say something you don't like, tell them to fuck off, tell them to eat shit or whatever the words he used was. But, like, Roger Maris never did it. He just always had the sort of, I don't want to talk right now. And he was very closed off from the media, and the New York media really hammered him for it. So I bring that up because it's a Yankee thing. Like I said, they're historic. They're like sacred when it comes to baseball. When Roger Maris broke that record, like, you got to understand, people didn't want that to happen. Babe Ruth was their god.
Yeah.
So I think it adds that allure to what Aaron Judge did for people who know the story. And even someone my age who I didn't see Roger Maris play. I had to learn about this later. But even I know the story, and knowing the story is very cool. This hurts. This fucking hurts. I'm diehard Cleveland. I was at I was at the 2007 ALDS. I was screaming nasty things to the Yankees outfield because I was in the bleachers. Nasty things, dude. This hurts to say, but I can admit it because I know it's true about the Yankees.
Well, speaking of 61, like there hasn't been another race like that since, I guess, McGwire and Sosa, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, two guys going for it. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's been the only time. When Barry Bonds broke the record, there was no one there. It was Barry Bonds.
Exactly.
That was it. He had no pressure from anyone else. It was his to lose, essentially.
Yeah.
Or his not to break, or however you want to say it.
Right.
So, and it was same case for Judge. I mean, but again, I know Judge didn't break the record, but he did break a record. He did break a Yankee record, which probably, to be honest with you, means more to a lot of people than Barry Bonds' record. I'll be honest. Because again, it's the Yankees. It's the house that Ruth built, which I fucking hate saying it. It made me cringe as I said it, but I know that's how people think about it. My biggest takeaway from it is that let's just let the guy have his moment.
Right.
When the moment's over for me, because we're playing him. Fuck him. Like I said. So it just bothered me. Let me ask you something. And this is totally transitioning to something else. But so somebody just put out a NBA's top 75 list, and they had CP3 ranked ahead of Allen Iverson. This really bothers me.
I don't like that.
You don't like it either. Me neither.
No,
I don't. I think that's
like, is this top 75 all time?
Yeah. He was ahead of him by like 4 or 5 spots, maybe.
Who do they give me their top 5?
Jordan, LeBron, Magic,
John Stockton.
How dare you? John Stockton's there, but
I figured he would be. I just wanted to get your thought on that.
So I guess The Athletic did this. Okay. So Jordan, LeBron, Kareem. Did I say Kareem? I didn't.
Yeah, you did. I think.
Bill Russell, Magic. Okay, I was wrong. So yeah, Wilt's not in there. So it's Jordan, LeBron, Kareem, Bill Russell, Magic, Wilt, Larry Bird, Shaq. Tim Duncan is number 9. Kobe's number 10. Tim Duncan at number 9 is a little bit surprising.
Yeah.
A little bit surprising. Then after Kobe, you got Hakeem, Oscar Robertson, Kevin Durant, number 13. I don't agree with that at all.
Olajuwon
was number 11.
That's surprising. Not that he wasn't a great player, but I wouldn't figure they would put him that high up.
12 All-Stars, 2 NBA championships, 2 NBA Finals MVPs, a regular season MVP, and 2 Defensive Player of the Year awards.
Man, it's decent.
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Where's Grant Hill, man? Where's Grant Hill? Where's Reggie Miller?
Reggie Miller's in the 30s.
Okay.
So KD is at number 13, which I disagree with 1,000%. Jerry West, number 14. Steph Curry, number 15. Fine. Karl Malone, Kevin Garnett at number 17. Okay. Moses Malone, number 18. Dr. J, number 19. David Robinson, number 20. A little bit surprising that he's in the top 20. Dirk, 21. Charles Barkley, 22. Elgin Baylor. Giannis, number 24. Stockton, 25. Isaiah Thomas. Rick Barry. Dwayne Wade at number 28. I'm okay with that. John Havlicek, number 29.
I don't know why, but I feel weird like listening to a list like this that includes guys that are playing now and guys that played 50 years ago.
Well, you got to put some of these guys in there.
I know, but
it's just fucking dominated. Even though they were playing my great uncle who fucking was a carpenter. But anyway, CB3, number 30. Bob Pettit, number 31. There's an old guy for you. Pippen, 32. James Harden, number 33. And he's my least favorite one on the entire list. James Harden is not top 40 all time. No one's ever going to convince me of that.
Right.
Sorry.
I agree.
Kawhi is number 34. George Mikan, 35. Jason Kidd, 36. Patrick Ewing, 37. Steve Nash, 38.
Oh, I was just going to ask about Steve Nash.
Where the fuck is Allen Iverson? Bob Cousy, number 39. Allen Iverson, number 40. So here's Iverson's numbers. Let's see how they stack up against CP3, because I've seen a lot of people posting about this, being like, yeah, they got it right with CP3 being ahead of Iverson. So Iverson, 11-time All-Star, 7-time All-NBA selection, 4-time scoring champion. That's the one to pay attention to. 4-time scoring champion, 2-time All-Star MVP, 2000, 2001 NBA MVP.
Hang on. What? I should know this, but what exactly is a scoring champion? I don't know that I've heard that before.
He averages the most points that season, 4 times.
In a season. Okay.
Yep, 4 times he did that.
Gotcha.
CP3. Now, neither one has won a title. So important to remember that. CP3. This is how they start his... The star point guard and vocal leader of those Lob City Clippers teams that never won anything, next to Blake Griffin, he turned a floundering franchise into a playoff regular and fringe contender. The Clippers didn't make the playoffs in 13 of the 14 seasons before his arrival. They went to the playoffs in all 6 of his seasons there. So that's why we're calling him better than Allen Iverson. He took a shitty team to the playoffs and never won in the playoffs.
They never even made the playoffs with when Darius Miles and Quentin Richardson played.
No.
Really?
That team was terrible, dude.
I don't know why. I feel like they did. Huh.
No. So apparently they're saying that Allen Iverson's 4 scoring titles and MVP was less impressive than CP3 and Blake Griffin taking Lob City to the playoffs.
I said that I don't agree with Allen being behind him without you telling me those stats. Now, I guess I was just perceiving, like in my head, I was just perceiving that that Allen Iverson's stats would be better than his.
And they are.
Yes.
The career accolades are much better.
Yes.
Can I tell you why I think he's better?
Listening.
Because he never cried in college when he lost to Duke, unlike CP3 did. When Chris Paul was at Wake Forest,
okay,
they lost to Duke and he was sobbing on the bench like a 10-year-old would.
Well, the reason I ask is regular season's a lot different than like a playoff situation.
It was not in the tournament. No.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know. I found the list interesting just because of that and James Harden. James Harden really bummed me out. But so I asked you and you said no, but so you haven't seen the Redeem Team documentary?
No, I actually didn't know what it was until you talked to me about it a little bit off air.
CP3 reminded me of it because he's in it, because he was on that team. But it's really good. It's really good. You especially would like it because honestly, no disrespect to anybody else on that team or in the documentary, that fucking documentary is about Kobe. Like, really? It's about Kobe. Yeah. It is about how he decided to join that team to prove to the world that he could be a team player. And he did. And all these guys were just in awe of him. Like he not because he was like a micromanager of the situation or like a bully to these guys or an asshole to these guys. They were just in awe about how badly he wanted to win and how much he didn't fuck around. It's cool, dude. It's like, I've never been I respect Kobe for his game, kind of where it ends for me. You know, as a player, I respect him. Respected him. I'm sorry. Rest in peace. And you forgot about some of these things that Kobe went through during his playing career. Having to redeem himself, having to prove that he could be a team player, having to prove that it was okay that he ran Shaq out of town, trying to prove that he didn't run Shaq out of town. But there's a really cool, I don't want to give too much away because you haven't seen it, but it's a really cool documentary about, the 2008 Olympic team that, in 2004, they lost in the Olympics. Huge deal because, American teams made up of NBA players were not losing on the world level like that. And when they lost, it was an eye opener and people started saying, hey, they've lost it with the rest of the world. The rest of the world is caught up. A lot of the guys who were on the 08 team who are in this documentary played in that Olympics. A lot of them were younger, like LeBron, Carmelo, D Wade. They were all young guys. And so with the 08 team, a lot of these guys who played in 04 wanted to be on the team to get it back. Kobe was just like, I want to prove that I can be a part of a team like this that can win. So there's one piece I want to give away to you because I forgot that it happened and it made me go back and go, oh my God, that was a huge deal when it happened. The opening game of the Olympics, was it? one of the opening games. It might have been the opening game, like preliminary round. They play Spain. Okay. Pau Gasol and his brother Mark are on that Spain team. Okay. And Kobe and Pau at that time were on the Lakers together. They were friends, and he went up to LeBron and D Wade at the beginning of the game, and he goes, "I'm going to run right through that motherfucker." He's like, "I know what play they're going to run first. He's going to set a pick, and they're going to do like he's going to set a screen out on the wing, and they're going to shoot it." He's like, I'm going to run through his chest." And they were like, "There's no way this guy's going to fucking do that to his teammate," and just trucks him, just fucking murks him, dude. And I'll be honest with you, the most impressive thing beyond the Kobe story, and them winning the gold medal, like, spoiler alert, they won the gold medal. I think you knew that already. But like, the most impressive part of the documentary is LeBron and how normal he is. The LeBron that we've gotten to know over the last 18 years or whatever, how many years, is one that, like, in the media, he says dumb things, but he's also like the guy in the community. He always tries to say the right thing, and he doesn't really like show a ton of emotion. In this documentary, every other word was a curse word. He had like a lot of like personality and like shit you don't see from him. So it made me kind of go, oh yeah, he's reminiscing about a moment that was really cool in his life.
So this is current LeBron talking like that?
I don't know when they filmed it, but yeah, I think they probably filmed it around when Kobe died.
Gotcha.
Maybe some of it after.
Right. Yeah.
So that was cool to see.
Yeah.
It was cool to see him be normal. And by normal, I mean like me, like curse every couple of words and just say fuck it. So yeah, I would check it out. It's a very good documentary. And again, I think you especially will like it.
I think it's funny, you were talking about how like Kobe trying to prove that he didn't, run Shaq out of town or whatever. I've seen a lot of stuff that shows like how big of assholes everyone was to Kobe when he first got drafted.
Oh yeah.
Like he had to fight tooth and nail to get any kind of respect by any of those guys.
Jordan was a motherfucker to him.
Yeah.
You can YouTube it.
I mean, guys on the team.
Well, sure.
Shaq and all those guys, like they wanted nothing to do with him, and they thought he was a young prick coming in. I mean, he was, and he probably had an ego and stuff that they were checking on him. But yeah, it's interesting. I
remember
the whole progress through that was interesting.
Yeah, I remember when they announced he wasn't, or when he didn't start, and he was pissed.
Yeah,
he's like, "No, I got to prove to these motherfuckers that I should be starting." The guy's 18. So ridiculous, but yeah, so go check it out. It's a good documentary. It's really fun. Really fun.
Cool.
And it's kind of a trip down memory lane too. Like, it's, again, like I follow this stuff, but I forgot a lot of this stuff happened. I forgot who they lost to in 04. I forgot that in 06 they lost in the World Championships to Greece. Like, you forgot about all this stuff. And also I forgot how fucking good Carmelo was. A killer back then.
Yeah.
He was a stone cold killer, dude. That guy, he was so good. And it's like watching him play now, it's like, oh man, just retire.
Did Carmelo get drafted the same year as LeBron?
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
Carmelo, LeBron, and D Wade, same year.
That's right. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, the rest of that team too in 08 was kind of funny. It was made up of like, it was like Carlos Boozer and Tayshaun Prince and Tyson Chandler, who was one of the other, Michael Redd was on that team. Like, Michael Redd retired in 2012. He didn't even make it that long after the Olympics. But anyway, just go check it out.
So wait, okay. As far as those teams go for the US, I guess like the Dream Team and the Redeem Team may be two of the most well-known. Like, what are there any other years that had that, I guess, that spectacle around them?
Well, there was the Dream Team 2, which was a pretty big deal.
Yeah, true.
Well, I know like the last year they won the gold was the year that Vince Carter jumped over a guy who was 7 foot tall.
Oh yeah.
You remember that dunk?
Yeah, pretty iconic.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's ever been a guy who can dunk like Vince Carter.
In-game dunker, not a chance. He's the best in-game dunker to this point. There probably will be someone who surpasses them eventually because guys are just, dude, I saw a video the other day on Facebook. A guy, his head was 7 inches above the rim. Like they measured it, they freeze framed it and measured it. Like it was
Like how tall of a guy are we talking?
6'5",
Jesus.
dude. It was the most insane thing I've ever seen. Dream Team 2. Derek Coleman, Joe Dumars, Kevin Johnson, Larry Johnson, Sean Kemp, Dan Marley, Reggie Miller, Alonzo Mourning, Shaquille O'Neal, Mark Price, Steve Smith, and Dominique Wilkins.
Alonzo Mourning. He was a Sun, right?
No, he played for the Heat. Charlotte and the Heat.
Why did I think he was? I don't know. I was thinking he played for the Phoenix Suns for some reason.
That's an interesting group of players. Is there a Dream Team 3? Yep. Let's see here.
Is there really?
Well, yeah. I mean, I think they're all considered fucking dream teams because it's 1996 U.S. Men's Olympic Basketball Team. Is that the one I just said?
Yeah, I think so. Because
Nope, this is a different one.
92 was Dream Team 1 and 96.
So this team has Charles Barkley, Penny, Grant Hill, Karl Malone, Reggie Miller, Hakeem Olajuwon, Shaquille O'Neal, Gary Payton, Scottie Pippen, Mitch Richmond, David Robinson, and John Stockton.
Okay, that's probably the coolest lineup I've heard.
I mean, it's not better than Dream Team 1.
Still,
Dream Team 1 had
that's pretty
fucking
sweet.
Michael Jordan, Larry Bird, and Magic.
I get it. That's okay. If we're ranking in order, let's make that Dream Team 2.
I mean, that one is sick. It's a lot of sports crammed into an episode.
It is. Well, do you want to finish on something we've been talking about for quite a while now and people are probably tired of hearing, but it's okay. The whole the Ronnie Radke thing, which we talked about last episode, and how their laptops were stolen. Well, now they're saying that they were misplaced. And he did another interview with your best friend, Jose Mangan. And I don't know who the other guy was, but this was at Aftershock Festival.
Whoa. The other guy was Matt Pinfield. Show some respect.
I'm sorry. I apologize.
Okay.
Why should I know that name? Is he a serious guy also?
He was on MTV way back in the day. One of the original rock metal guys on MTV. And he also started a show on USA called Farm Club, which at the time, it was the early 2000s, helped blow up nu metal in a large way. Go to YouTube, just YouTube Farm Club TV. You'll see live performances by POD, Spineshank, all of the like Primer 55, all of the like maybe even Cold, all of these bands from that era. Anyway, it's Matt Pinfield. Go ahead. Sorry.
Okay. But anyway, so this interview was at Aftershock. This is a lot more recent. I'm assuming. Like, how recent was this interview? I didn't look to see what the date was on it.
Couple weeks, maybe. I mean, Aftershock just happened. So,
okay. So they seem to be taking the side of Radke.
Yeah.
In this. And he does explain a little better on the whole tracks thing. And he also explains that it's not necessarily just the tracks, but a lot of things are controlled by those laptops, including lights and stuff like that too, that helps put their whole show together. So right. I didn't know that. I thought it was mainly just the tracks for singing. But if their whole show is kind of screwed up, then I kind of see why they pulled.
Well, it's not tracks for singing. It's tracks for the whole production.
Right. Yeah.
And he wanted to make that very clear. Like, he sees a lot of haters talking about, oh, you need the tracks because you lip sync. It's like, no, the tracks aren't even primarily for vocals. It's for everything else. He's like, we have a whole string section and this amount of songs. Like, if we don't have that when we play live, you guys are going to be wondering, well, what the hell happened? Why does it sound the way it does? And I kind of expected those two guys to take his side, and I'm on his side. I get it. My only denial of tracks would be if lead vocalists are actually using them and lip syncing, which I've seen it happen, and that I don't agree with. But
I think about it from the eye of the person going to the concert too. And if they say they didn't pull and say they tried to put it together and it just didn't sound good, is there a possibility that they're going to lose fans because their live show sucked, or it wasn't up to the standard they had expected, because this is their, could be their favorite band in the world. And this could be the one time that they actually got to go to one of their shows, and it wasn't great. It wasn't great. It just sounded terrible. I wonder if that's anything that they even care about.
I'm going to answer your question with a question.
Okay.
If you know that your laptops not being there are going to make your show worse, why take the chance of losing fans?
Well, yeah, that's my point is, do you think that there's enough of a chance that you're going to lose enough fans by it not sounding good? Or do you think that that's something that they even worry about?
Can I be honest with you?
Or should they have come out and just said, listen, well, I guess they did, come out and say, listen, we cannot put on the show that we think that your expectations would be for, without having everything that we need.
Yeah. No. So can I be honest with you though? I don't think, had they decided to play that show bare bones without their laptops, they would have lost any fans that they already had. They would have pleased some haters who have been just waiting for that dude in that band to slip up.
Right.
Sure.
Right.
I don't think they would have lost people who consider themselves to be Falling in Reverse fans. No.
But we're also in a different age, like we always say too, as far as music goes, but as far as social media goes and stuff like that. And as you're saying, like pleasing the haters, how many haters are going to be in that crowd filming it and it tons, possibly not sounding great, and now it's all over the internet.
Oh, tons.
So now not even the fans that were at the show, but fans who weren't at the show that are seeing these live videos like, oh my God, I don't want to go to a show. Now they lost ticket sales and everything else too.
Yeah. Well, dude, you're right. I think I might be giving the band more credit than they want to be given. Meaning and I don't think they should have played the show. If you don't feel comfortable playing the show, don't play the fucking show.
Right.
I wouldn't. However, I think given who the members of that band are, I think they could have done it, and I think they could have pulled it off and made it sound good for their fans. But they didn't want to. So fuck everybody. I mean, at the end of the day, they want to put on a good show for the fans. They want to give the fans the music that they hear on the records, or as close as they can get it to the record. And that's fine. The old school guys like an Eddie Trunk or Sebastian Bach, like the stripped down version of what a band sounds like on the record, and perhaps sounds a little bit different live. But Ronnie Radke had a great point, and he talked about it on this interview, during this interview with Matt Pinfield and Jose Mangan. He's like, look, all of these guys are using tracks. They just might not consider it to be using tracks. If Skid Row or Sebastian Bach walks out to an intro that leads into a song, that's a track.
Right.
No matter how you spin it, that's something that's enhancing your live show, which is what we're talking about here.
Right.
And he's right. Like I said, we always use tracks to, one, allow us to have a click, and two, give us some background music to fill what was going on. We didn't evolve into, and I'm saying we, the last band I was in, we didn't evolve into a band that used guitar tracks. We always had synth. We always had the filler stuff that you heard on the records. If there was synth in a record, you heard it live. If there was piano, you heard it live. Hip hop drum beats. And Ronnie Radke even mentions that in his video. He's like, how the fuck are we going to duplicate a hip hop drum beat on a live rock drum set? He's like, fans are going to know the difference. Like, those are the things that we have there from those laptops that we can't recreate. And I know what he's talking about. So we would use stuff like that as well. Electronic, like house beats and sound effects and whatever the case may be. Now, does everyone notice stuff like that, or do they depend on hearing stuff like that? Maybe not. He didn't want to take the chance.
Maybe not, but I think that the majority of people who are going to go to one of their shows would like for the music to sound as close to the album as possible.
Well, their generation of fans are going to expect it, yes, because they've grown up in the era of tracks.
Right.
Unlike you, they understand what they are. I'm sorry. You just now learned what they are. No, but for real. I mean, that I don't know what the average demo age wise would be for that band, but I consider it to be significantly younger than the demo that, say, Foo Fighters would bring.
Yeah, I agree. But I'm talking in general, and I'm not just talking about Falling in Reverse. I'm talking about any band. The majority of listeners who are going to buy a ticket to go to a show, they probably love those albums and they love the sound of those albums. And they would like for the show to sound a lot like the album, unless they're going to add things to it to enhance it. They would like those songs to sound like the album. If they go out there and it's completely different in a weird way, or in a bad way, then it's probably going to make them shy away from even maybe that next record.
You're right. Yeah,
Maybe.
I mean, they're going to expect it. So I understand completely why they didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
Now, again, I think I'm giving them more credit than they want to be given at this point in time, but I think they could have pulled it off. I don't think they should have. I'm not even saying that I would have. But
yeah,
we're talking about season guys.
Was this a Falling in Reverse show? Like they were headlining the show, or was this like part of a festival that they pulled out of?
So the performance that they canceled was a festival.
Okay.
Will Rock Fest in Illinois.
Okay.
But I thought I heard him say that the laptops were in Nashville. Or no, they were supposed to be in Nashville, but they were in New York. But why is that? Where does Illinois come in? It doesn't matter. I'm not going to question it at the end.
It was something like that. I think he said they were in Nashville, and I remember him saying.
But they canceled the Illinois show.
Yeah.
Hey man, I'm not calling bullshit. I don't. At the end of the day, it's like I get why they would do it. And again, I don't. Tracks are tracks. That's just it's the way of the world now when it comes to music. So, but good for Matt Pinfield and Jose Mangin for taking his side. And you can tell he really appreciated those two dudes kind of being like, hey, it's okay. We get it.
He did. It was still, you have me critiquing Jose Mangin now and how he talks a little bit. It just seems like it's in a roundabout way that he explains everything. Like he's got to have, different
overly
examples.
dramatized. It's overly exaggerated. It's a gimmick.
Yeah. And maybe that's a radio thing. Maybe he feels like he needs to have that for the radio. I don't know. But yeah, he wasn't talking about slaughtering animals or anything this time. So I guess that's a plus.
Thank God. Anyway.
I feel like those interviews have to be pretty gross.
Which ones?
Like just at the ones at festivals like that, because I feel like they're just doing interview after interview after interview all day long with different members of different bands. I don't know. I just feel like it would be very uncomfortable.
You think they're more uncomfortable for the interviewers than the interviewees? Is that what you're saying?
No. I'm saying the interviewee. Like it's got to be very uncomfortable.
Because take it from me as someone who's done them.
Yeah.
At a festival where Jose Mangin was. Yeah.
Oh,
it's
really?
It's very uncomfortable. He didn't interview me, but.
Okay. Were you going into it like regretting it already? Or were you kind of excited for it? Or did you?
No, I was stoked because I hadn't done it that much. I was like, hell yeah, they actually want to talk to us. And I was like, oh, fuck. It didn't go poorly, but it's awkward. It's a little bit awkward because you don't know what you're going to be asked. You don't know. The whole time I'm like, that was douchey what I just said. Like after I would say something like that was stupid. And it wasn't. Like you watch it back, you're like, okay, that was fine, but I don't know.
Were you wearing sunglasses inside? That's the question.
Listen, you fuck. I wasn't wearing sunglasses inside. I was outside in a tent. And they told me to wear them. God. Unbelievable.
That's funny.
Did you watch Top Gun Maverick yet, dude?
No, I haven't.
It's really fucking good.
I've heard very good things.
Let me just tell you, I'll quick tell you my experience. So
wait, before you tell me your experience.
Okay.
If I were like, would you get the full experience out of watching it at a drive-in? Or does it
I
have
think
to
that would
be
be awesome.
better than the theater or better than watching it at home?
I think that would be great. Do you
Okay.
have the ability to do that?
I think so. I think
I would go do that. So
Okay.
let me that's perfect segue into my okay. So for my birthday, my wife, the actual day of my birthday, my wife was like, "What do you want to do today?" And so the day before, I was like, "Hey, what if we, because my son's at school, so I was like, what if we go see Top Gun in the movie theater?" And I'm thinking she's gonna be like, "No," but she's a good wife. She's like, "Well, it's your birthday. If you want to do that, we can do that. That would be fun." And then like I backed out day of. I was like, "Can we? Let's just go." Like, so we went and hung out uh, on the river and stuff, like Fast Eddie's and the loading dock and stuff. So that week though, I was like, all right, let's rent it though. Like, I don't care. I don't think I need to see it in the theaters. I think I'm going to enjoy it because I'm not watching it necessarily to be blown away by the cinematic
right.
effects of the planes and all that stuff. I'm watching it because of the nostalgia, and I want to see how they retell this story. And so we rent it, make a night of it. We're watching it, and I love her to death. But my wife sometimes she asks too many questions during movies, and at times you're just like, you gotta stop. So, but I was so dialed in, she was asking her questions, and I wasn't really answering them. I was just, yeah. She's like, what? I'm like, yeah. She's like, I didn't ask you a yes or no. I'm like, yeah. And so we get all the way through it, and it's the very ending scene, and the credits roll. And she goes, well, did you like it? And there was this long pause, and I'm like, it was fucking incredible. And she started laughing at me. She's like, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, you talked to me too much during it. I was so focused. I was like, it's fucking incredible. I was like, it's one of the best movies I've seen in a long time. She's like,
Right.
seriously, you liked it that much? I'm like, yes. Didn't you like it? She's like, no, it was great. I'm like, yeah, but don't do that again. You talk too much. It was fucking great, dude. You need to see it. Go see it at the drive-in. If you can do it, go see it.
Okay.
I mean, you've seen Top Gun. You know what Top Gun is, right?
Yes. Yeah.
I don't even know that she's seen Top Gun, so maybe that's where the questions were coming from. Maybe I should have asked that before we watched it. I assumed
In all
in the
honesty,
10 years we've been together, she had seen Top Gun with me at least once, but
I will probably watch the first one again. Or do you think, like,
you
is
don't
there a
need
lot
to.
of it? So there's not a lot of tie-in from the first
Oh,
one.
there's a lot of callbacks, dude.
There. Okay. So
There's
that's what
a
I'm saying.
really crucial one that you're going to miss. Okay. I want you to pay very, very close attention to Jennifer Connelly's character.
Okay.
Okay.
Mhm.
Pay attention to who she is. Wait till the ending credits if you need to, just to see who she is. And then I want you to come back to me and I want you to tell me, who was she in the first movie? Because
So
it took me until the ending credits to go, oh, motherfucker. They did that too?
Okay.
I was like, son of a bitch.
Okay.
I'm going to challenge you to this. So maybe do watch Top Gun again. Maybe it'll help you, but it's a very good movie. It's very good.
What about John Hamm's character?
Ham?
John Hamm.
He's good. He's good.
Are you? I think we've talked about him maybe before, but are you a John Hamm fan?
I mean,
I know you said
Mad
you
Men
couldn't-
is one of
you
the
could-
grossest shows.
I'd say, yeah, I know you couldn't get into Mad Men.
Fucking hated it.
Yeah.
I like him. Yeah, sure. I don't have anything against him. I mean, he was good in The Town.
Yeah.
He was good in Bridesmaids.
I heard about The Town again on another podcast the other day. I need to rewatch that movie. It's been a long time since I've seen it too.
Can I tell you something? So Ben Affleck owes me some money.
For which movie?
The Town.
Okay.
The Town. And I'm on record telling this idea to people. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna write. I have this idea for like a screenplay or a book or something where you have a guy who, essentially my idea was, you have a guy who robs a bank, later on meets one of the tellers at the bank, falls in love with her, and then there's this situation where he has to commit another crime and somehow she gets wrapped up in it, so on and so forth. That's what The fucking Town is. And when I saw it, I was like, oh, goddamn. I mean, can Ben Affleck hear my thoughts? What's going on here? It's not that unique of a story. Like, millions of people have probably thought of that. He just executed. It's a good movie.
Did you ever see the movie Gone Girl?
Yes. Recently for the first time.
Oh, really?
I love that movie.
Yeah.
It's a
You know,
really good movie.
you know, there was quite a bit of that was filmed down in Cape Girardeau, right?
Yeah, I remember my wife telling me that. Yeah.
We actually, because we lived down there when it was being filmed. And
Really?
we actually had driven by like when a lot of the roads were blocked off and stuff while they were filming. It's pretty neat.
What year did that come out?
Oh, I want to say I don't know when it came out. I
2012,
want to say
2013?
it was probably filmed because we got married in 2011 and we moved down there right after that. So I'd probably say it was filmed on 2012-ish.
2014.
That's when it came out.
When it came out. Yeah. So it's probably filmed.
That makes sense. That makes sense then.
Yeah, I want it. Well, no, because I already. Yeah, that's a good one. I like that movie. Yeah, I hadn't seen it all those years. I probably last year. It's the first time I saw it. I started the Dahmer series, which, by the way, could we have just made that into a 2-hour movie? Why does it need to be a show? But
everything's got to be a show now, man. Everything's got to be.
The only one I'm happy, like, oh, I'm so glad that was a show, was Ozark, because I thought it was a movie when we started watching it.
I have not started Dahmer yet. I'm not sure. I've heard the acting is phenomenal by that guy, but I don't know, man. That's one of those, like, I got to be in the mood to get into something as dark as that.
I like dark shit, but I also sometimes at some point I just go, this is just it's. I know it's based on a true story, so a little bit different. But I kind of compared it to how I felt when I watched Joker. And I've only watched it once and I'm never going to watch it again because I don't need to. I felt that movie was very, I feel like it was over dramatized for the sake of being dark and for the sake of making you, the viewer, feel unhinged, which is good for some people. For me, it's like, I like dark in a different way. I like dark that makes me think. The Joker didn't make me think. So you go, this guy's fucked up. And I'm just waiting for him to do the next fucking weird, dark, gross thing. It's the same with the Dahmer. Like, I watched the first episode and I'm like, yeah, this is super dark and super kind of creepy, but I don't know that I care. I don't know that I care. Like, I'm not thinking. I'm just watching gross shit happen. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it
like,
does.
You want to watch like a thriller and you want to be challenged to be like thinking about the situation.
What's going to happen next? Yeah.
But also, like, what happened before? What led to this? Yeah. Why are we like? I don't feel like Joker did that at all. And a lot of people say it did. I didn't get that. Maybe I'm not smart enough. And this with Dahmer, it's just like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. But apparently, like, the rest of the show really gets into his dad and his family life, which I love. The guy that plays his dad, Richard Jenkins, is in Step Brothers, and
yeah.
He actually came to a film class when I was in college. Met him.
Oh, really?
Very cool guy. Yeah, he was college buddies with my film teacher. So he always does him favors.
That's cool.
Anyway, he's in it and I really like him. I think he's a fucking phenomenal actor. So I want to continue watching just for that. But at the same time, I'm like, I don't know if I fucking care. It's one of those things. You remember did you see the trailer came out? It was a Netflix movie. It was called Game Day, maybe. It was about college football players wanting to get paid. And the one guy sits out the national championship game or something. But the dude who plays the coach is a guy that I really like. I think he's an outstanding actor. J.K. Simmons. J.K. Simmons plays the coach. And I really like that guy. J.K. Simmons was in Whiplash. He's been in so much shit.
Yeah, okay.
Let me find out what this movie was called. National Champions is the name of the movie.
Okay.
Came out last year. But, that was one of those movies too where I was like, I don't really give a fuck, but I want to watch it for this one guy. Follow star quarterback who ignites a player strike hours before the biggest game of the year in order to fight for fair compensation, equality, and respect for student athletes. Yeah. So, not a tall tale, something we've heard before.
Yeah.
Yeah, go watch. I'm not going to tell you to watch Dahmer. You decide if you want to do that. I mean, I'll be honest with you. They went hard in the first episode. They went hard.
Is just the first episode?
That's all I did so far. Watched it last night, and I probably did it just so I could talk about it with you here. But uh, again, I might finish it. I might continue. Have you seen that movie? Have you heard of that movie, Bros?
No.
So let me look it up and give you the synopsis. Maybe will we get booted if we watch the trailer here? Probably.
Probably if we watch it. I mean, well,
All right. So it's essentially it's a gay rom-com, and there's a lot of gratuitous sex with the two male stars of the movie. The guy who directed it and starred in it is Billy Eichner. Do you know who that is?
I know the name.
He has a TV show or had a TV show. I don't know if he still does it. And I've only seen clips of it on social media, but he basically would just like walk up to people in the street and be a total dick to them. He'd walk up to a girl and be like, "You look fat today," or it's stuff like that, just to
Okay.
get like a reaction out of people.
Okay.
And he's been in some other movies. You know what he was in? He was in that show that we both like. Friends from college. Friend is a friend.
Yeah.
He's Fred Savage's boyfriend, fiance, husband.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
that guy.
I know you're
So
talking
he's
about.
in this movie, okay, as a podcaster who is gay and single and doesn't want to like get in a relationship, but meets this lawyer. And they just, it's a rom com, but it's two gay guys. So they put a shit ton of promotion into this movie. And like, I've read the story and then heard about it on a podcast, but like apparently spent a shit ton of money, millions and millions of dollars promoting it, and it just tanked, didn't do well at the box office. It's just not doing well. Well, Billy Eichner got interviewed and he was like, "Yeah, heterosexuals have screwed us once again, or like the straights have like whatever." I was like, "Well, how?" And you know, Tim Dillon said it best, who by the way is a gay man. He's like, "Well, how do you explain Birdcage or what's the one with Heath Ledger and fuck.
Brokeback Mountain.
What is it?
Brokeback Mountain.
Yes. He's like, well, how do you explain those movies that were giant successes? Both really centered around a gay relationship.
Yeah.
So, if you watch the trailer, you'll be like, yeah, this just isn't funny. It's just kind of, but apparently there's just like hardcore sex scenes in it, which is really off-putting for a lot of people. And it's like it's marketed in a way where you would want to get like teenagers to go see it, calling it Bros, but then like tagging it as this like silly little rom-com. Like, watch the trailer. Like I really want to watch it now, and if we have to cut it, we can cut it. But I want your reaction to the trailer, because you're gonna be like, okay, swing and a miss. I think like even if you watch the trailer, but I think the biggest story behind it is, this guy coming out being like, yeah, well, straight people are the reason my movie failed. It's like, well, is it? Or is it just not good? Sometimes movies aren't good. Maybe you didn't make a good movie.
Yes, but like if like you're saying, like the gratuitous sex scenes and stuff like that, I don't know that we're there yet in in culture.
With two men, you mean?
Yes.
Oh, so you're taking the homophobic route on this. Okay.
Run with
it. No, that's fine.
I'm not necessarily saying that it's a homophobic thing. I'm just saying that it's still, whether it should be or not, it's still an odd thing for a lot of people to think about and to see it being normal, just like a man and a woman on screen. Do you understand what I'm saying? I think a lot of people.
You're going to get us kicked off the internet, dude.
I get
what you're saying.
Seriously, as a culture, I don't know that everyone's there yet.
Are we ready for it to be a Drew Barrymore, Adam Sandler rom-com? Probably not. We meaning society.
Right.
I'm okay with it. I'm not going to see it. I don't like rom-coms necessarily anyway. I did just watch Along Came Polly like 2 nights ago. Fuck. But
because you like the movie, or what?
I actually really do just enjoy that movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
Philip Seymour Hoffman has 2 or 3 scenes where I know they're coming. I've seen it a dozen times. I still laugh out loud. Still.
Yeah.
in that movie.
I remember, I think it was even maybe in the trailer too, that one scene where they're playing basketball.
Raindrops,
Yeah.
Iceman.
Dude, I don't know if there's many comedies also that Ben Stiller's done that I haven't been a fan of. I really like
Oh,
Ben
he's done
Stiller.
plenty that I'm not a fan of. I'll
Like,
give you the biggest one.
what's that?
Hate Zoolander. Hate it.
Okay, yeah. I don't in my head I don't count that because it's just like a goofy wag. I mean, no, it's considered to
It's
be
like
a
one of his
comedy.
biggest movies.
I know. I wouldn't say.
The only scene that I
Yeah.
like is when all the gay guys are at the gas pump spraying gas on each other. You know what I'm talking about?
I think so.
Oh my God. Pull that scene up right now, please.
No,
Let me-
the biggest thing I remember from, I guess, from that movie is like it was another trailer thing, but it's like when him and Owen Wilson are messing with the computers. They're like, it's in the
Yeah.
computers.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
I'm probably really late to the party, but I just realized or heard like maybe last year that Jerry Stiller was his dad. I had no idea that was his dad.
You know, he's been in movies with him, right?
Yeah, I know. Well, what,
And played his dad. So you
yeah,
watched the ending credits, you saw, oh, Ben Stiller, Jerry Stiller, father, son, but not in
no,
real life. There's no way.
no, I don't remember. Well, I always remember him from, or Jerry Stiller from King of Queens.
Sure.
And I guess the thing that it made me, it blew my mind was because, do you remember the movie Heavyweights?
Yeah.
That Ben Stiller did? Well, Jerry Stiller was in that also. It wasn't his dad in it, I don't think. I think they were like the original owners of the camp.
Can we be honest about Heavyweights? That was his character from Dodgeball.
Yeah, kinda.
It was the same
I get it.
character.
I get it.
One movie just didn't do well and the other was a huge success.
Yeah.
He's like, maybe I need to recreate that for this movie. What was the movie that Jerry Stiller was in where like Ben Stiller goes on his honeymoon and meets another woman?
Heartbreak Kid.
Yes.
I was gonna bring that up here just a second ago, but I figured it would not be one that you would be.
I
Maybe even
actually
seen or
kind of
interested.
like that movie too, man.
It was a pretty decent movie.
Damn it. What's wrong with me? We might need to get out of here. I don't like myself right now. Jerry Stiller was hilarious in that movie. Ben Stiller was fine. I mean, Danny McBride's in that movie. He's funny.
Had he even blown up yet? Before when that movie came out? Danny
No.
McBride?
That was before. That was way
No?
before. Well, it was close. It was close to. I mean, I guess Danny McBride's big sort of like coming out movie would have been Pineapple Express, right? Or was there something before that?
No, you're probably right. Where was Tropic Thunder in that?
That was after Pineapple Express.
Okay. And then now he's got a show that he's been doing for quite a while, right? Is that still going on? Like, is it
Which one?
Eastbound and Down or something like that?
No, that's been done for a long time.
Has it been?
He did Eastbound and Down on HBO, which the first season was phenomenal. I haven't watched it since then. And then he did Vice Principals on HBO, which again, watched the first season of that. It was really good. He might still be doing that. I don't know if he is, but I didn't watch past season 1. But it was good. Both of them I liked. But did you really just ask if Eastbound and Down was new?
No, I knew it wasn't new. I just didn't know how if it was still being filmed or not, or what they were.
Oh God, no. That's been forever.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a Danny McBride fan though.
Yeah. It's so funny to see him in older movies too, where he's not even a character. He's just a background guy, like in Superbad. Like when they're at the adult house party, he's just a guy in the background. He's just like flirting with chicks. He has no lines. He has nothing. You're not even supposed to know it's him. And you don't until years later. And you go back and watch, you're like, oh, look, there he is. He's just hanging out. Like,
well, it's like I like watching that kind of stuff, like seeing actors who are pretty big now, that going back to their movies or shows or whatever, where they were just, wasn't much. Like I can't think of what his name is. He's in Brooklyn Nine-Nine now. which I know you're not a fan of, but he was also in Superbad. He was the one that hits Jonah Hill with his car.
Yeah.
I don't know what his name is, but
Yeah, I don't
you
know.
know, he did like his part was decent in that movie, but it wasn't huge. And I don't think he was really anybody at that point. But he's actually one of my favorite parts of that
You know
movie.
a guy named Jimmy? You remind me of his brother. He like bends down like a creep. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
I'm
a
sorry,
classic
man. I
movie.
didn't even effing see you. And just the fact that
Yeah.
he's effing.
You guys on MySpace or what?
Dude, that whole movie. I love that movie.
It's a timeless movie, man. You
It really
can't
is.
remake that movie today,
And it's
unfortunately.
full of heavy hitters as far as have you seen speaking of super bad, it's a newer movie that Michael Cera did about poker playing.
God,
It was
no.
on,
That
it was on
sounds.
Netflix. I think it was called Molly's Game or something like that.
Don't
It's
even.
about okay.
Should I see that? That sounds like watching
don't-
paint dry.
I don't know. I don't know if you'd like it or not.
I'm not a huge Michael Cera fan.
Okay.
What's he been in other than Superbad that I like? Do you know anything that he's been in that you like other than Superbad? Do you like Juno? Juno's okay.
Juno was okay.
Juno's okay.
You probably only like Juno because of J.K. Simmons.
He's good. I mean, that's a good movie. I like Jason Bateman in it, even though he's a dick.
Oh yeah.
You forget Jason Bateman was in that.
I started watching Arrested Development again. Did you ever watch it?
I did. It's great.
Yeah.
One of the funniest shows ever made.
I started going back and watching some older stuff, like when I'm on the treadmill in the morning and stuff. I actually started watching Malcolm in the Middle.
Oof.
They could not make that show again today.
Why?
It is pretty rough as far as like talking about gay people and calling people names that you cannot use anymore in today's culture. And it gets pretty rough.
Really?
Yeah.
Wasn't that
Just
like
like
on
the
network television?
Just like in the first like episode or two, it gets pretty.
I never watched it.
Yeah.
You know, there's a new Surreal Life coming out, and that dude's in it.
Which dude?
Malcolm isn't
Frankie
Malcolm in the
Muniz?
Middle. Yeah,
Really?
yeah. You know what the Surreal Life is?
I've heard of it.
It's a VH1 reality show where they just put a bunch of celebrities in a house and let them.
How many shows are like that? Why
I don't know. I mean, this is
do
one of the this is one of the original. This is like before Rock of Love, Flavor of Love. Like this is one of the original VH1 reality shows.
Okay.
You know, like one season had Vanilla Ice and Ron Jeremy, and a couple of, you know, one season had Flavor Flav. Well, was it? Yeah, Flavor Flav and Flavor Flav and Brigitte Nielsen and the dude from Full House. But this one's supposed to be Dennis Rodman, that guy from Malcolm in the Middle, and a bunch of other people who I've seen on random occasions. I don't know. I'm not gonna watch it, but you said Malcolm in the Middle.
You
And that
said
guy.
that. You said
That
you
guy.
said-
That guy's in the picture looking. He looks 70 years old. He looked 30 when he was 12. No, am I the only one that thinks that?
I don't think so. I think it's more weird to see Bryan Cranston in that show.
Yeah. Yeah. I was watching something the other day that he was in. I was like, oh yeah, I forgot he was in this, but I'm never gonna remember it. So
The mom from that show, I can't remember what her name is, but I think she went on to do quite a few things after that also.
from Malcolm in the Middle,
Yeah.
I have no idea. Yeah,
No.
like I said, I've never watched 1 minute of that show.
Wow.
That was, yeah. But now that you're saying it's so inappropriate, now I kind of want to see it.
Well, we've been kind of like going through at the house too. Like I just pick shows that are kind of be on the background, like in the background of whenever we're doing other stuff. So we started watching The Wonder Years,
New one or old one?
old one.
You're so racist.
It was pretty boring.
Yeah, it's a boring show.
Pretty
Now,
boring show. Yeah.
Like for the time, it was good because it was directed at people my parents' age.
Yeah.
Like it was telling their story. But if you watch it now, you're kind of like, oh God, this is all so dated and so like, but I get it. I get
But
it.
even just the way the show was done and the way like it was put together.
It's very slow.
Yeah, it is. But I heard something interesting. I heard Fred Savage on a podcast not too long ago, and he was talking about how they filmed that show.
Yeah.
And Daniel Stern was the narrator for his character in the show. And you know who Daniel Stern is, right?
Marv from Home Alone.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So, but they were talking about how Daniel Stern would just go in and do the narrating. He wouldn't actually be on set when they were doing the narrating. So
Sure.
they actually had to have a guy on the set who would say the narrator's part while they were filming. And that's how like Kevin Arnold and all of them knew how to have like their stopping points after they would say something or before they would say something. Because there's a lot of parts in the show where they're just talking and he would stop for a few seconds. The narrator would talk and then he would talk again.
Oh,
So
yeah. I remember that.
So they
Yeah.
just had a guy on set who was doing the narrating part while they were actually filming the show.
Notice you haven't seen that since. Maybe there's
That's
a
true.
reason.
That's true. But it's interesting to think that like kids were that good at acting to be able to be able to do that. Eh?
Yeah, I think that show might be a little bit dated if you watch it now. That makes sense that it was boring. Still has that theme song, man. It's a good one. I mean, it's no Boy Meets World, but it's a good
Dude,
one.
I was just thinking the same thing. It is no Boy Meets World.
Did you know that did I send you that? The redhead from that show is a porn actress?
Oh, Caitlin Ward.
Of course,
Or
you
no,
know her name.
No, it's Maitland Ward, I think is her name.
Maitland?
Yeah. I think I'm pretty sure that's her name. Yeah, she's kind of been outcasted from the rest of that crew, I think. Like when they do
like when they redid the show, she wasn't asked back. Is that
well, I mean, that was part of it.
That
too,
could have
but
been the giveaway on that.
I mean, like when they do like conventions and stuff, because they'll do conventions where they'll get together and meet fans and stuff. I don't think she's invited to do those kinds of things either.
Have you been to one of these conventions?
I haven't, but if I told
lying
you
to me,
if I tell you something right now, you're gonna hate me so much. But I'm gonna say it and then end the podcast.
Okay.
There is a Boy Meets World podcast that I've been listening to that does include the people from the show.
It's unreal. I'm sure it's riveting. Let's go.
Let's go back and get some action, live it up and get